You stand at 12,800 feet. Thin air cuts your lungs. Lake Titicaca glitters in the distance. At your feet lie blocks of stone weighing over 100 tons, cut so precisely a razor blade won't fit between them, drilled with holes that look machine-made, andesite harder than granite. Perfect 90-degree angles, surfaces smooth as polished glass. The Tiwanaku people built this around 500 to 600 AD. No steel, no diamond saws, no written language explaining how, just stone blocks scattered like toys tossed by a giant hand. They call it Puma Punku, door of the puma, and scientists still can't explain 12 things about how they pulled it off. They carved red sandstone blocks 26 feet long, 17 feet wide, 3.5 feet thick, 131 metric tons. They transported smaller andesite blocks from the Copacabana Peninsula, 90 kilometers away, across Lake Titicaca. The largest block weighs 144 short tons by current estimates. Archaeologist Alexei Vranich obtained radiocarbon dates from the deepest layer of mound fill, 536 to 600 AD. That's when construction began. The stonework came later. Pratzen and Stella Nair published their 1997 comparison of Tiwanaku and Inca stonework techniques, plus Alexei Vranich's 2018 Heritage Science publication on three-dimensional reconstruction, combining historic measurements from 1892 fieldwork by geologist Alphonse Stubel and archaeologist Max Uhle. Now back to the information. Each block has roughly 80 faces, uniform dimensions, identical shapes. The precision suggests mass production 1,500 years ago. Pratzen and Nair documented this in 1997. They found miniature H-blocks, perfect scale models, multiple copies. Mass production confirmed. The hollows inside each H-block have grooves with non-parallel walls, dovetail joints, used today in fine woodworking. Stone, not wood. The internal angles measure exactly 90 degrees. Crisp, sharp, no rounding. Not massive individually, but numerous, scattered everywhere. Each one identical, each one precise. The symmetry screams standardization. Modern construction uses prefabricated components, factories, assembly lines, quality control. The Tiwanaku had none of this, or did they? The evidence suggests otherwise. Multiple identical blocks, same dimensions, same features, same quality. Production system organized, systematic, efficient. Stella Nair experimented. She tried flint, agate, jasper, obsidian, hydrated obsidian, greywacke, quartzite, hematite. Bronze failed against andesite. She carved an 8-inch half-cross design, 40 hours total, 25 hours for an experienced person after learning. She matched the precision. Successfully, the technique works. Stone on stone, patience, skill, time. But one element stumped her, the accurately flat internal surfaces. Perfectly planar. No waviness, no deviation. They're everywhere at Puma Punku. Inside every groove, every channel, every recess. Modern stonemasons examine these surfaces, use precision measuring tools, confirm the flatness, verify the accuracy, can't explain the method. How they achieve that flatness remains unexplained. No marks, no evidence, just results. Above the tree line, no trees. Zero. The red sandstone came from near Lake Titicaca, 10 kilometers away. Up a steep incline, Bronze Age, Tiwanaku. No wheels, no pack animals strong enough. Llamas max out at 75 pounds. The blocks weigh hundreds of tons. Chemical analysis confirms the sandstone quarry location. Petrographic studies by Janicek in 2013 place andesite on Copacabana Peninsula, 56 miles across the lake. Jean-Pierre Pratzen examined the stones in the 1990s. Almost every stone at Puma Punku shows drag marks on one face. They dragged these monsters. But how? The physics doesn't lie. 144 tons equals 288,000 pounds. Friction coefficient for stone on stone roughly 0.4 means you need over 115,000 pounds of pulling force. How many people? Assuming one person pulls 100 pounds, you need over 1,000 people. Per stone, coordinated, working together on steep terrain at altitude. Where breathing is hard, where exhaustion comes fast. Maybe 30, 40, 50 ropes. How do you attach them? How do you distribute the load? How do you coordinate the pull? Ramps? Maybe, but ramps need to be engineered. Gradual slope, supported, stable. Building the ramp might be harder than moving the stone. The logistics stagger. The engineering challenges multiply. Yet they did it. Multiple times. Dozens of massive blocks, hundreds of smaller ones. All transported, all placed, all fitted. The mechanism remains unknown. No evidence of the transport system survives. No ramps discovered. No sleds found. No rope remains. No track marks. Just the stones. Sitting there, massive, impossible, real. Circular indentations, perfectly cylindrical, some 4 millimeters in diameter, spaced exactly 28 millimeters apart. One groove runs 1 meter long, 4.5 millimeters wide, semi-elliptical cross-section. The hole's depth varies by less than 0.1 millimeters. That's precision. 1/10 of a millimeter, human hair thickness, across multiple holes, consistent, repeatable, accurate. One block has a row of 6 millimeter holes drilled along a groove. 6 millimeters exactly, not 5.9, not 6.1, 6. Measured, verified, multiple times by multiple researchers. The consistency proves intentional precision. Not accident, not luck. Design. The holes are clean, no rough edges, no chipping, no cracking, perfect cylinders, top to bottom. Modern engineers examine these holes. They admit recreating this accuracy requires advanced tools. High-speed drills, CNC machines, computer control, carbide bits, diamond coating, water cooling. The Tiwanaku supposedly had stone chisels, copper tools, maybe bronze. Harder than granite. Only diamond, corundum, and a few other minerals cut it easily. The drill holes suggest rotation, high speed, consistent pressure, constant feed rate, lubrication maybe, cooling definitely. The process would generate heat, friction, stone dust. How do you manage this? How do you keep the hole straight? How do you maintain depth control? How do you prevent the bit from wandering? Ancient Egyptians used copper tubes with sand, rotated them, ground through stone slowly. Could work. But the Puma Punku holes are smaller, tighter, more precise. Egyptian drill holes show variation, wobble, imperfection. Puma Punku holes show none of this. Perfect, machine-like, consistent. The technique remains unknown. Proven? No. Demonstrated? Never. Replicated? Not successfully. Not with Bronze Age tools. Not with the precision shown at the site. The holes remain perfect, cylindrical, uniform, waiting for explanation. Pratzen described using repeated systematic application of a straight edge, moving it in concentric circles around fixed points, hammering between movements. This could produce flatness. Could. The Egyptians used boning rods, 3 rods on a string. The Greeks used surface plates for column drums. Did the Tiwanaku have similar tools? We don't know. We found no tools. None. Hammerstones, yes. One hematite hammerstone with scars of use. Out of context. Scattered quartzite cobbles at the site, potential hammerstones. But the precision tools? Gone. Lost, disintegrated, or never existed in the form we imagine. The surfaces remain smooth, flat, silent. Flush joints. The angles are exact. The precision indicates sophisticated knowledge of descriptive geometry, stone cutting mastery. Some blocks could be interchanged, maintaining level surfaces, even joints. The uniformity suggests a modular system, ancient prefab. The blocks themselves tell the story. Pratzen and Nair identified a 1 to 1.5 millimeter thin coat of whitish material on some stones, possible mortar layer. But most joints are dry-fitted. The weight holds them, the angles lock them, the system works. Earthquakes happen at 12,800 feet. The site's been hit, yet the precision joints remain. The blocks that haven't been scattered still fit, tight. Certain blocks, certain locations. Visitors place compasses near carved edges. Needles shift unpredictably. Small movements, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, sometimes more, but consistent. Repeat the test. Same result, same shift, same direction. Not random, not electrical interference. The stones themselves. Gauss meters, magnetometers, Tesla meters, Hall effect sensors. Erratic readouts near certain monoliths. Magnetic flux varies, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, sometimes alternating. The pattern is complex, not simple, not explained by uniform magnetization. The stones contain magnetite, iron oxide, naturally magnetic, common in andesite, but the concentrations vary. Some stones show powerful electromagnetic fields. 500 milligauss, 1000 milligauss, stronger than background, stronger than expected. Others don't. 20 milligauss, 50 milligauss, normal range, background level. Test them somehow? Sense the magnetism? Use it? Ancient people knew about magnetism. Chinese used magnetic lodestones 2,000 years ago, earlier maybe. Navigation, divination, ritual? Did Tiwanaku know? Did they care? Were magnetic properties important for construction? For ritual? For orientation? For some purpose we don't understand? How responsive to magnetic fields? Paleomagnetic analysis. Ancient field strength, ancient field direction, remnant magnetization. Acquired when? During formation? During construction? After? The surveys between Puma Punku and Kalasasaya in 2007 used ground-penetrating radar, magnetometry, induced electrical conductivity, and magnetic susceptibility. They found man-made structures underground, walls, water conduits, pool-like features, revetments, terraces, residential compounds, gravel pavements, extensive infrastructure, all buried. The magnetic data is there, collected, archived, waiting for detailed interpretation, waiting for correlation analysis, waiting for pattern recognition. waiting for someone to ask the right questions. Light. Comment your location so we can see where our community of history enthusiasts spans across the globe. This research draws from Heritage, Science Journal's 2018 publication by Vranich on 3-dimensional reconstruction datasets, and from Pratzen and Nair's 2013 comprehensive study published by UCLA's Kotzen Institute of Archaeology, titled The Stones of Tiahuanaco. These aren't blog posts. These are peer-reviewed academic publications, providing the foundation for understanding this site. Now continuing with the mysteries, rock surfaces similar to those that have been heat-treated. A thin layer with high silicon content appears in samples analyzed. Visual evidence suggests vitrification. The cause? Unknown. Theories range widely. Extreme heat exposure, lightning strikes, deliberate treatment, natural weathering. No consensus exists. Professor Watkins stated the rock surfaces on the stones are similar to those thermally disaggregated. The glazed surfaces support this. But how? Why? The Tiahuanaco had no evidence of furnaces capable of such temperatures. No blast furnaces, no kilns that hot. Yet the vitrification exists, documented, photographed, analyzed. Orthodox science disputes the interpretation, calls it weathering, calls it natural mineral deposits. The debate continues, the glassy surfaces remain. No hammer divots, no peck marks, no evidence of the manufacturing process. Just finished surfaces, smooth, perfect, complete. The larger Tiahuanaco site shows tool marks, rough work, in-progress stones, stones abandoned mid-carving. You can see the technique. Hammerstones, pounding, gradual shaping. But Puma Punku, clean, finished. No intermediate stages, no learning curve visible, no mistakes preserved. Pratzen noted this. Nair noted this. Every researcher notices. The absence screams significance. Why remove all evidence of process? Unless the process itself was different. They analyzed samples from both red sandstone megaliths and gray andesite structures, used scanning electron microscopy, petrographic analysis, chemical testing, found organic matter in the andesite. Volcanic rock doesn't contain organic matter. Natural andesite forms from lava, cools, crystallizes. No biological input, no carbon, no plants, no animals, pure mineral. But Puma Punku andesite contains organic matter, measured, verified, documented. The technology possible: mix clay, water, alkaline activator, pour into molds, let cure, becomes hard as stone, indistinguishable from natural sandstone, except for organic traces in the matrix. Create slurry, pour into molds, chemical reaction occurs, geopolymerization, acid activates aluminosilicates in volcanic material, crosslinks form, matrix solidifies, becomes stone, hard, durable, permanent. Laboratory replication succeeded. Davidovit's team created samples, tested them, matched the properties, proved feasibility. Explains uniform H-blocks, same mold, multiple castings, mass production. Explains perfect internal angles. Mold is precise. Casting replicates precision. Explains flat surfaces. Mold is flat. Casting is flat. Explains vitrification. Chemical reaction creates glass-like surface. Explains organic matter in volcanic rock, added during mixing. Deliberate ingredient. The theory stands. Peer-reviewed, published, tested, replicated, but controversial. Most archaeologists reject it. Seems too advanced, too sophisticated, too impossible for Bronze Age. The cognitive dissonance is real. Evidence says one thing, assumptions say another. Academics choose assumptions. Usually, the toolmark absence remains unexplained by conventional theory. Polishing explains some, not all, not this complete, not this perfect. T-grooves cut into massive stones, precise shapes, exact dimensions. Metal clamps held blocks together, some cold hammered, shaped by repeated strikes, work hardening, strengthening through deformation. Others poured molten, cast in place, liquid metal into shaped groove, cooling, solidifying, locking. Two different techniques, both sophisticated, both effective. The clamps contain arsenic, copper, iron, silicon, and nickel. Complex alloy. Multiple elements, precise proportions. 1.7% nickel, measured, confirmed, analyzed. Copper melts at 1084 degrees Celsius. Different melting points, different processing requirements. How do they smelt this? What furnaces? What fuel? What temperatures? What atmosphere? What crucibles? Quaternary alloy. 5 elements, proportions matter. Too much nickel, too brittle, too little, too soft. 1.7% is specific. Intentional. Optimized, maybe. How do they determine this ratio? Trial and error? Centuries of experimentation? Knowledge transfer from elsewhere? The questions multiply. Heavy elements sink. Light elements float. Inhomogeneous result. Weak. Useless. Pour too cold. Incomplete filling. Voids form. cracks develop. Failure inevitable. The sweet spot is narrow, requires experience, requires knowledge, requires skill. The Tiwanaku were accomplished metallurgists. This we know. Museums hold examples, tools, ornaments, weapons, ceremonial objects. Beautiful work, high quality. But this alloy? This precision? This application? Next level. Beyond contemporary cultures, beyond expectations. The clamps exist. Analyzed, tested, verified. 1.7% nickel consistently. Across multiple clamps, at multiple locations, multiple T-grooves. Production methods standardized, quality controlled, remarkable achievement. The T-grooves themselves show precision cutting, perfectly shaped receptacles for the clamps. The clamps fit exactly. No gaps, no looseness, no wobble. Machined fit, assembly line precision, 1,500 years ago. The technique appears at Ollantaytambo, at Korkancha, at Urukrumi and Vilcabamba, at Egyptian sites, distributed across cultures, across continents, across time periods. Independent invention, knowledge transfer, common ancestor technique, unknown. The grooves are limited to the most monumental structures, biggest blocks, most important buildings, most sacred locations. Why? Structural necessity? Symbolic importance? Both? The clamps suggest the builders anticipated seismic activity, wanted flexibility, wanted the stones to move slightly without separating. Smart engineering, earthquake resistance designed in. The Altiplano experiences earthquakes, regular, powerful, destructive. The system works, blocks with clamps survive better. Stay together, remain stable. Evidence of forward thinking, planning for disaster. Engineering for resilience. Miniature models suggest sophisticated planning. Perfect scale replicas of full-sized gateways, reduced according to a specific formula. The stone known as Escritorio del Inca is an accurate reduced scale model of full-scale architecture. Multiple exemplars exist. Mass production of models. Why? Planning, testing, training. The miniatures aren't crude. They show the same precision as full-sized works. The same techniques. The same attention to detail. This indicates systematic design, multiple craftsmen working from plans, standardized measurements, quality control. The models are scattered throughout Tiwanaku. Some fit together with other model pieces. They form contexts, relationships. Pratzen and Nair documented this in 2000. The existence of multiple identical models proves intentional replication, not unique artistic creations. Industrial scale production, 1,500 years ago, forms like modern package material, foam-like, rounded internal corners. Inca legend supports this. Oral tradition states the stones were made with plant extracts able to soften the stone. Archaeologists rejected this for decades, made no sense. Then came the geopolymer analysis, organic matter and volcanic rock. The science supports what the legends claimed. The French and Peruvian scientific team in 2017 gathered samples, analyzed them, found evidence. The oral tradition was right. They made soft stones that could harden, not magic, chemistry, geopolymer technology. The Tiwanaku knew their environment, exploited natural resources, created something remarkable. The marks of soft stone working remain visible, documented, thrown, tossed. Some blocks toppled end over end. Orientation changed. Others moved dozens of meters from original positions. Trajectories visible. Impact zones detectable. The aerial view shows chaos, systematic chaos, pattern in the disorder. The site was abandoned around 1000 AD. Standard dating, radiocarbon confirmed, ceramic correlation, multiple lines of evidence, rapid onset, extended drought, standard narrative. Unable to produce crops, population scattered, sites abandoned. Tiwanaku culture collapsed, region depopulated. This happened across the Altiplano. Multiple sites, same time period, same causes apparently. Pacific plate diving under South American plate, seismic activity constant, major quakes periodic. Could explain displacement, could explain scattered stones, but the energy required staggers. Imagination, move 144 tons, takes enormous force. Earthquake that powerful would destroy everything, would leave evidence, would be recorded. Lake Titicaca nearby, 11 kilometers away, water, lots of water, tidal wave possible, Seiche. Lake oscillation during earthquake, water rushes one direction, then returns, waveforms, grows, crashes. Could reach Puma Punku, could scatter blocks, could explain water-polished surfaces on some stones, rounded edges, smooth texture, wave-worn appearance. Elaboration. Additional blocks, more complexity. Phase 3, final additions, refinements, repairs, then sudden cessation. No Phase 4, no continuation, just stop. The devastation at Puma Punku is more extensive than at nearby Tiwanaku. Tiwanaku, 1 kilometer away, should experience same destruction, same earthquake, same wave, same forces. Yet Tiwanaku still shows some walls, some structure, some coherence, standing walls. Recognizable buildings, partial preservation, Tiwanaku partially shielded. Possible. Construction method? Puma Punku may be less structurally sound, more experimental, more innovative, less tested. Tiwanaku traditional, proven, stronger. Also possible. Material? Puma Punku uses more andesite, harder, more brittle, breaks cleanly, shatters, scatters. Tiwanaku uses more sandstone, softer, more stable, crumbles but doesn't fly, different failure modes, different destruction patterns. The stones are scattered across a vast area, 2 football fields, 300 meters across, about 150 blocks documented above ground, large ones, visible ones, more buried, smaller ones, fragments, pieces. Ground penetrating radar shows buried structures, walls underground, foundations intact, surface destroyed, subsurface preserved. This pattern confirms surface level event, quick impact, violent force, then abandonment, then erosion, wind, rain, sand, covering, burying, preserving paradoxically. 5 centuries of looting followed. Spanish arrival 1500s. Structures still stood, some, gateways upright, windows intact. Bernabé Cobo documented this, drew pictures, wrote descriptions. Then treasure hunters came, systematic plundering, gold, silver, copper, anything valuable, anything portable. Stone mining started, building material needed, take blocks. Reuse elsewhere. Railroad construction 1800s, need ballast, take stones, crush them, spread them. Cultural heritage destroyed, archaeological context lost, criminal, tragic, irreversible. In 2024, Ball State University's Institute for Digital Intermedia Arts created 3-dimensional reconstructions, photogrammetry, laser scanning, measured hand modeling, capturing exact dimensions, building accurate models, trying to understand what stood here, how it fit together, what it meant. The reconstruction work began in the 1890s. Stubel and Ula. Their pamphlet provides detailed measurements, precise depictions, foundation data. Vranic built on this in 2018, Heritage Science publication. 3-dimensional modeling dataset. The work continues. Elevation 3,850 meters. Largest sandstone blocks 80 to 130 tons. Sources kilometers away. Precision cut andesite H blocks. Famous worldwide. UNESCO World Heritage. Site designation protected, studied, not solved, not yet. 56 miles for andesite across a lake at 12,800 feet. No oxygen, no machinery. 536 to 600 AD. Bronze Age technology, stone tools, maybe copper. Definitely not steel, not diamond, not tungsten. Yet they did it. Cut the stone, moved it, placed it, fitted it, left it standing for 1,500 years. Sand, copper, time. Lots of time. Skilled craftsmen, thousands of workers, decades of effort. Possible. Proven? No. Alternative theories propose geopolymer concrete. Casting, not carving. Laboratory replication successful. Organic matter found in volcanic rock. Published in Science Direct 2019. Peer-reviewed. Controversial. Most academics resist. The evidence accumulates. More analysis needed. More testing. More excavation. The ground holds secrets. 90% of Puma Punku remains buried. Ground-penetrating radar shows structures underground. Walls, conduits, terraces, residential compounds, gravel pavements, all buried, waiting. Organic matter found, silicon layer identified, metallurgical studies completed, nickel content confirmed, non-local, unexplained source. The data exists, interpretation varies. Based on astronomical alignments, calculated the buildings match sunrise patterns only seen 15,000 years ago. Modern academics reject this. Carbon dating says 536 to 600 AD. From deepest mound fill layer, organic material, radiocarbon dated 1,510 plus or minus 25 years before present, calibrated. But dating organic material and fill doesn't date the stones, doesn't date the construction, dates when fill was deposited, stones placed later. How much later? Unknown, could be decades, could be centuries. Single piece, Viracocha depicted coming through a stargate, creation mythology, or historical record confused by time. The legends persist. The Tiwanaku disappeared around 1000 AD. The Inca found it 400 years later. Gap. Mystery. Questions. September 2024. Not endorsing alien theories. Using digital tools to understand construction. Visualize how it looked. Test how pieces fit. Scale models. 4% of original size. Physically manipulate pieces. Understand assembly. Scientific approach. Data-driven. The reconstruction shows something important. The site was coherent. Had structure, had purpose, wasn't random. The gateways created mirror effects, framed each other, looking into one room, seeing infinity. Architectural sophistication, symbolic design, Sacred space, where world began, maybe metaphorically, maybe literally in their cosmology. The design shows intelligence, planning, mastery. Industrial revolution, modern technology, linear. But Puma Punku doesn't fit. Too advanced, too precise, too sophisticated. For Bronze Age, for 500 AD, the evidence forces reconsideration. Either our timeline is wrong, or ancient people were more capable than we assume, or technology was lost, or something else we haven't considered. The academic community fragments. Conventional archaeologists defend standard interpretation. Patient work, simple tools, lots of time. Alternative researchers propose other explanations. Lost civilizations, ancient high technology, geopolymer chemistry, forgotten techniques. The evidence supports multiple interpretations. No consensus exists. The debate continues. How do you create flatness over meters? How do you produce 80-faced blocks repeatedly? How do you transport 144 tons uphill? How do you place them precisely? These aren't philosophical questions. They're engineering problems. Modern engineers examine the site, admit difficulty. CNC machines, diamond saws, laser cutters, hydraulic cranes, modern solutions. Ancient people had none of these, yet accomplished the same results, or better. Some modern experts can't replicate the precision, can't achieve the flatness, can't drill holes that uniform. This is humbling. This forces respect for people we don't even know the name of. People who left no written records, no blueprints, no instruction manuals, just the stones, speaking silently, challenging our assumptions. Find organic matter in volcanic rock. Question answered. Stones might be cast. New question. What organic materials? How processed? What proportions? What temperatures? What curing times? Find magnetic anomalies. Question answered. Stones have magnetic properties. New question. Natural or intentional? Selected or created? Purpose ritual or practical? Find vitrification. Question answered. Surfaces show heat treatment. New question. How hot? What fuel? What technique? What purpose? Find metal clamps with nickel. Question answered. Advanced metallurgy confirmed. New question. Where's the nickel from? How smelted? What furnaces? What knowledge? Each discovery opens doors, reveals complexity, demands more research. Reconstruction challenging, maybe impossible. But the attempt continues, the measurement continues, the analysis continues, the debate continues. This is good. This is science working. Question everything, test everything, measure everything, let evidence guide conclusions. Not assumptions, not preconceptions. Evidence. The stones provide evidence, physical, undeniable. Interpretation varies, but evidence exists. This matters. This means progress possible, understanding achievable, patience required, rigor required, honesty required. Let the evidence speak. Built something that lasted 1,500 years, survived earthquakes, survived abandonment, survived looting, still impresses today, still challenges today, still teaches today. This deserves respect. This demands study. This requires explanation. Dismissing it as primitive doesn't work. The evidence contradicts that. Claiming aliens doesn't work. Humans built this. The question is how? And that question matters because understanding how expands what we think humans can achieve, expands our sense of possibility, expands our respect for ancient intelligence. Slowly, carefully, the picture emerges. Still incomplete, still mysterious, but more detailed, more nuanced, more fascinating. The 12 mysteries remain, but context grows. Knowledge accumulates, questions sharpen. This is progress. Careful documentation, scientific rigor. In 1993, Pratzen documented hammerstone evidence, pit scars, patterns, cups, pans, raw stones at quarry, stones ready for quartering, understanding manufacturing process, real evidence, physical proof, testable data. In 1997, Pratzen and Nair compared Tiwanaku and Inca techniques, published in Journal of Society of Architectural Historians, peer-reviewed, academic. Authoritative, establishing differences, proving Tiwanaku used unknown methods, sharp 90-degree angles unexplained, crisp internal corners impossible with hammerstones, revolutionary findings. In 2017, French and Peruvian teams analyzed samples, geopolymer hypothesis, organic matter and andesite, game-changing data, controversial conclusions, scientific bombshell. In 2018, Vranich published Heritage Science Reconstruction, 3-dimensional models, digital archaeology, modern tools applied to ancient mysteries, photogrammetry, laser scanning, precision measurement, virtual reconstruction. In 2024 and 25, updates continue. New analyses, new publications, new insights, new questions. The work never stops. Cannot stop, must not stop. Stones thrown, displaced, scattered. Violence suggested, earthquake maybe. Seismic activity recorded. Lake Titicaca nearby. water, tidal wave possible, flash flood potential, catastrophic event, evidence exists, interpretation uncertain. The stones tell partial story, large blocks moved, smaller blocks scattered, original positions unknown, context lost, reconstruction difficult. Why did Puma Punku suffer worse destruction than nearby Tiwanaku? Same earthquake should affect both equally, yet Tiwanaku retains more structure, more walls, more coherence. Puma Punku shows chaos, greater destruction, different impact. Why? Location? Construction method? Material? Unknown. The pattern needs explanation. Standard drought narrative doesn't explain scattered stones, doesn't explain violence of displacement. Something else happened, something dramatic, something forgotten. Around 2007, geophysical surveys mapped underground structures, ground-penetrating radar, magnetometry, electrical conductivity, magnetic susceptibility, found walls, conduits, pools, revetments, terraces, residential compounds, gravel pavements, extensive infrastructure, all buried, all intact, underground evidence preserved, above-ground chaos, below-ground order. This contrast matters. Means surface destruction didn't extend deep, means event was surface level, quick, violent, then abandonment, then erosion, then looting, then tourists. The buried evidence waits. 90% unexplored, unexcavated, protected, preserved. Future research goldmine. Future answers waiting. Future understanding possible. When technology advances, when funding arrives, when permission grants, when time allows. The ground keeps secrets, silent. Patient, certain. Acknowledgement of mystery. This is honest, this is scientific, this is human. Cut precisely. Drilled perfectly. Fitted exactly. Scattered mysteriously. Waiting patiently for the day when we finally understand how they accomplished what they did, and why, after 15 centuries, we still can't definitively explain any of these 12 fundamental mysteries that make Puma Punku one of the most precisely engineered, most thoroughly documented, and most completely inexplicable stone construction sites on Earth.